What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. And it's the end of the week. Today is Friday. We've got a ton of green price action happening over here in the cryptocurrency market, with Bitcoin up over $2,000 so far this morning or today, whenever you're watching this. We can see over there Cardano is above $2. We have XRP above $1. And just a lot of stuff going on in the market, right? So we'll kind of do an end of week wrap up here. We'll review everything that's going on in the market. There's some critical stuff happening right now in the market. I've talked about this throughout the week. The times when I get nervous and the times that I get worried are not on the same time frame as what the general herd of retail investors is. And it's when we get back into retracement levels is when I start kind of grinding my teeth, biting my fingernails, and start saying, okay, here we go. This is kind of the big moment of truth at this point. But as we can see here, the total altcoin market cap held that level, held that bull flag on the double tap back test, still grinding up, taking out this price level at this point. One of the assets that really has the eyes focused on it right now is Cardano at this point, because Cardano has been taking off early, which is one of the things we talked about last week, that it's setting up just like Litecoin did back in 2017. Litecoin was one of the very first assets that did go on a monster bull run to finish itself off before everybody else. So Litecoin finished about a month before XRP did, and XRP didn't even take off until Litecoin was done. And Cardano was showing the exact same structure. However, there's things we have to look at here with Cardano, right? Where is the price at right now for ADA? It has retraced right back to that 702 Fibonacci retracement level. So this is kind of that big moment, right? This is that big thing we talked about with Bitcoin. When the bubble popped back in 2017, what happened to Bitcoin? It lost 40% of its value, then it retraced back up to the 702, and then it fell all the way down. So what was interesting about this for Bitcoin back in 2017 is we can see it's an ABC structure in here. Adds a little bit of confusion over there for Cardano, which I'll show you in a second, but we could see that A, B, C. And where did A go to? A went to the 618 retracement, B pulling all the way back down into the red below the 0.236, and then C going up to the 702. Well, hey, what do we see over here for Cardano? You can see that A comes up here to near the 618, B down here below the 236, and C, right? Or is it? Hard to tell. I'm using the Binance chart right now. If we use Coinbase, we could see that this initial fall did not set its lowest low. The lowest low came in here over on June 22nd. Kraken shows the first pop or first fall that happened was the lowest low, which was lower than June 22nd, in which you could see A, B, C. And Bitfinex shows that as being the lower low than June 22nd. However, Coinbase does not. Coinbase is doing the exact same thing that all the other assets are doing. A big fall, double bounce, capitulation for June 22nd, and then a double bottom coming in over here in July 20th and 21st before popping its way out. And for me, in my belief system and how I'm managing my portfolio personally, is I'm going with that this is not an ABC correction. And that what we're seeing over here on Cardano is the same thing that we saw happen to Litecoin back in 2017, in which it had to work out this area right here, right below the all-time high. It popped up once above the all-time high and then had to come back down and work out this zone first before the big final surge that came in. And that we could see over here on Cardano, just below that all-time high has been that real area that's been getting worked right in there. Had one attempt to really break out, got pushed right back in, and now it's starting to work its way up. But does need to be taken note of right now for all the bears out there who have been totally terrified, screaming that this is a bear market. If they're coming back in at this exact moment on Cardano, they're doing it right at the 702 Fibonacci retracement level. The price has already risen from $1 to $2. It's gone up 100%. And out of all the times for me personally, the blockchain backer to be nervous, it's right here, right now, because I know that I've seen it way too many times that 702 retracement can be the biggest nightmare in the world. And this is typically where retail investors capitulate on their bearishness and become bulls again into a retracement. And so for anybody who was screaming that it was a bear market when the prices were lower, and who are now changing their minds and screaming that it's a bull market and are buying back in, you are perfectly following the emotional, psychological wrong footing that happens in markets. And you are 100% investing with emotions. And that real professional traders, people who are professional investors, institutions, know this is the place for them to take profits at. this is the place for them to sell and de-risk their portfolio as Cardano reaches back to these retracement levels. Now, I have to pick what my conviction is, right? Not financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do, but I always tell you guys what I'm doing. I'm going to hold through this. I'm under the belief that we are just on the verge of this market exploding and us having the big final parabolic madness happen in this market, and that will see Cardano with several more dollars of value attached to it, somewhere between $5 and $10. But if there's a place for me to be wrong about all of that, it's right here. Moving along, Bitcoin still working out that 50% retracement as we head into the end of the week, battling up right against the top again one more time. We'll see if today ends up being the day that it does get through it. There is quite a bit of resistance coming up in here, so all the stories really get told up in here for Bitcoin. Like I've mentioned, my conviction is still that Bitcoin's going to go to about 72 to 73, potentially as high as 85,000. But from a Fibonacci standpoint, Fibonacci extension, it takes it somewhere up there between 72 and 74,000 for the 4.236 extension. And here, I'll show you that real quick. Let me get these drawings off the board that I was just doing. But we can see that the full fib extension does get us right out there to about $73,500. So whether or not it reaches pinpoint precise up to there, goes a little bit beyond it or a little bit short, don't know, but I would expect to see at least $70,000 for Bitcoin, and that's how I'm playing my cards. But we know that we're working on retracements right now, so everything gets real sketchy as we start moving into retracements at this point. Because like I mentioned, I don't get nervous down here. I get nervous all in here. And if you're wondering why I'm showing you all of these things when I'm talking about my conviction being that it's going to go to the upside, I'm not a perfect human being. I'm willing to admit that sometimes my conviction can be wrong. But there's specific places on the charts where it will prove it. And it's as you get into retracements is when it can really prove it. We also don't have anybody leading and getting through those just yet, right? Cardano's doing pretty good, but it's up in the retracements. Ethereum hasn't gotten through the retracements. Litecoin, XRP, none of them have gotten through yet. So we don't have any leaders at this point telling us we're getting through just yet. Once we start getting a couple of them breaking through the retracement levels, the optimism can start getting really high. But as we're approaching it, and as everything is still underneath the retracement levels, I have to sit there and say, those are still there. Ethereum hasn't broken them. Cardano hasn't broken them. Litecoin, not even close. Stellar Lumen's not close. XRP, quite a ways off of them. And the total altcoin market cap still quite a bit below it. So it's getting through that 50% retracement right now, but we're still under the 618, 702, and 786. So without the big leaders, and I know there's always going to be those, random coins that are in like rank number 89 or 147 on coin market cap that are doing it. But for the most part, looking to the really bigger names, the stuff in the top 50, the top 25, or the top 10 that are showing us that's the path that we're going. And we haven't had that yet. We're almost there. The fact that we've got Cardano right there, that's exciting, but we've got to get through because we know that this kind of stuff can happen. But throughout the weekend, the thing that I'm really going to be cheering for at this point is going to be Cardano. And I know a lot of people are sitting here probably thinking, why aren't we cheering for XRP? The reality is Cardano is leading. Cardano is the first one there at that 702 retracement. I would love to see it break through. If it can break through, that is so exciting because I've always stood with the same conviction that this market moves together. It does have rotations, but for the most part, throughout the whole month period, it's all moving together with a bunch of rotations happening at different times. And when Litecoin took off in 2017 like this, there was a monster rotation that happened at the end of it straight into XRP. And one of the most optimistic signs I could see happen here in this market right now, at least something that could happen like in the next day or two, would be if Cardano could break through it and at least like touch its all-time high again. That doesn't mean I'm going to be chasing Cardano or adding more money to Cardano and getting euphoric and selling off stuff that's going slow to go chase Cardano. It just means it's providing optimism, and that the most likely thing coming next based on history and what we've seen is that all of these other coins are going to start doing it too. There's always leaders, there's always laggards. Cardano is showing that it could potentially be the leader, And it would be fantastic to get the confirmation of a breakout into new all-time highs that it's going to be, because that can increase the optimism for the rest of the market. I mean, of course, I'll cheer for anything to break out and go nuts. But when I look at all the charts that I typically follow to keep a good eye on the whole market, this is the one that's kind of getting ready to tell a story if it can get through that 702 Fibonacci retracement and break out into new all-time highs. When Litecoin did that, right? When Litecoin got up here and it broke up into these all-time highs right here, there was some battling that had to happen in there, and that's okay if that ends up happening with Cardano, but that would be a really optimistic thing to see. Here's what happened right here, right? Broke up to the all-time high. It did have a big monster pullback right there. That's like 25% of a pullback that happened instantly, just a flasher that took it back down. But for the most part, simply getting up there and getting through the retracement levels was the thing that really signaled it. And so that's what I'll be looking for. Not caring about volatility that happens. And when we touch the all-time high, I would expect there's going to be resistance back up there again, another pushback. But merely getting through the retracement levels would be so incredibly optimistic for this market for me. And that's what I will be cheering for throughout the weekend, is that we can at least get our first leader to show us the way. Because right now, Cardano is at the nail-biting, teeth-grinding moment right here. And it sure would be awesome to get up into here and say, holy moly, we're through all the retracements. What's next for the rest of the altcoins now? But I have to emphasize strongly that professional risk managers are going to sell this area. That's what they do. The big question is the risk management going to be enough? And is this thing so incredibly bullish it's going to just blast through it? Or are those risk managers coming in with full force right now, heavily dumping Cardano? And we need to see these retracement levels break. And that would provide so much optimism for me, for the rest of the market. So this is teeth grinding, nail biting moment right now. I want to see Cardano get out. I want to get really optimistic for the whole market, and this is where that can happen. And so, once again, another great week for crypto over here with a big fat greenie over here on the total altcoin market cap. With now, out of these last 23 days, we've had 4 reds. Yesterday was red, but clearly it's cleared it back up again. So 4 red days in the last 23 days. It always does feel pretty good to have redemption. It feels good for all the people who, when we stick through these things and we hold through these terrible time periods to get that redemption with all those people who are screaming it's a bear market. They're all gone, right? They're all silent now, right? But we had to deal with their nonsense for so long. Feels good to get beyond that. If this market has a push back, you can guarantee those voices will come out again. Right now, they're dead silent because they're terrified right now, or they're FOMOing back in, whatever it is. But we earned to have 19 out of 23 days be green. That's for sure, man. But still, there's work that has to be done. We're now getting through the 50% retracement over here on the total altcoin market cap, getting up to the big retracement levels. This is where the story gets told. And whether or not you like Cardano or not, it's a good story for the whole cryptocurrency market if it does break out. So I'm going to be sitting there cheering for it throughout the weekend. And of course, I'll be cheering for all the other assets too. But there becomes particular times where things really matter to me. And you guys know it for the people who have been around through the whole bear market. They've been through each of these big pullbacks that we have when we start rotating back ups. Just like I explained in a video earlier this week, this is that big moment. Let's get ourselves a leader. But all right, guys, that's going to be it for the week as we head into the weekend. I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'll catch you guys again on Monday. If you're looking for something to do throughout the weekend, of course, you can check out my website over here, which is bcbacker.com. This is a course that I put together where I deep dive into the previous Bitcoin bull runs, the different altcoin market cycles. I tie them all together. I show how the extensions have worked for Bitcoin and for the altcoins and the rotations of when they've happened throughout the past. I talk about my personal exit plans in here, and I teach you how to set up your own charts and your own indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro, talking about mathematics and percentages and tons of educational content in here. I also included a market update recently over there on July 31st, and you can check out all of this educational content right here on bcbacker.com. You can follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker, and I want to thank you guys so much for watching my channel. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor, but if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.